Okay, here we go again. Let's see if this works. Yeah, I'm glad to see. I just wanted to say I'm glad to see that on the likes of social media, YouTube, Facebook, and I started an eSocial, or True Social account actually. But I'm glad to see that. I guess the big thing here is that we're seeing that the manosphere is growing, and more and more men are being woke up, or starting to see that there's a problem here. And well, I don't think there'll be any solutions until we first acknowledge that there's a problem. Then after we acknowledge that there's a problem, then we can diagnose a solution or solve it or attempt to solve it. But until we acknowledge that there's a problem, well, there can be no solution. We can't get the cart before the horse here. So with that, that's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm glad to see that there are people, there are men that are waking up to this idea of the red pill and the manosphere. So that's a good thing. Anyway, I wanted to talk about serial killers in this video again, and talk about the MOs of serial killers, their development, their psychology, and the effect it's had on our culture today. As I talked about in my last video about Ted Bundy, him being kind of the marquee, almost icon of the serial killer group and groupies. There were a lot of them in the 70s. That was kind of, as I say, this was kind of the heyday of serial murder. And well, let me first differentiate between what a serial killer is and a spree killer or a mass killer. A mass or spree killer, kind of, as we see a lot in the media now, will kind of go on a rampage all at once and kill a bunch of people in cold blood. He's oftentimes mentally insane, and he'll kill, like, let's say 20 people. He'll shoot 20 people in a row, and maybe he'll even target a certain demographic, but he'll do it all at once. That's a spree killer or a mass killer. A serial killer will kill over a period of time, and he will target select victims, a certain demographic of victims, women, prostitutes, maybe minorities of some sort, maybe homosexuals. He'll target them over a period of time, and he'll usually pick off one or two at a time over maybe a 5-year period. AKA, or a good example, Ted Bundy. Another one was John Gacy. And there were a lot of them during the 70s, as I say, and they were in the black and the white cultures, both. And once again, if you look into it, facts over feelings, generally the killer will target his own ethnic group. Whites killing whites, blacks killing blacks. And generally, if the person is a heterosexual, they'll kill females, and if they're a homosexual, they will kill other homosexuals, males. It tended to be a male thing, and I think the media and the media industry also attributed, because there was a lot of slasher movies and a lot of things of that nature. I think there was a lot of I think that attributed to this problem, I guess you'd say, with all these slasher movies and whatnot. And of course, as I said, there was a lack of technology back then. No Google, no internet, nothing of that nature. No computers, no iPhones, no DNA, no surveillance cameras. So a guy could really, in fact, one killer, the Zodiac Killer, if you know him, if you heard of him, I'm pretty sure was a white dude in that, during that time frame. Killed over a period of time and never was apprehended. In fact, he still could be among us. I don't know. I think he's probably dead by now, but he could still be among us. He could have gotten away with his killing, and wouldn't that be something? But I mean, it just goes to show you that how you could get away with a lot more. It wasn't always sexually driven killings, although a lot of times it was. Like in the case of Bundy and Gacy, there was a lot of there was a high level of sexual. Their killings were sexually driven. They were sexually fueled, sexually driven, sexually motivated. Others, though, they were like David Berkowitz, the son of Sam. His were not. His were just random violence where he would target couples in their car and shoot them. And, and there was also a lot of, and there was a killer, there's one called the I-5 Killer. He was during that time. Another was in Canada, a couple in Canada. One in Europe, I think it was in Norway or something. Well, there was England. There was the Yorkshire Ripper. He was kind of an AKA like the Jack the Ripper. A lot of these dudes, if they that were sexually driven as well, they would target either prostitutes and strippers or hitchhikers. And remember, hitchhiking was an easy. I mean, that was an easy way to get prey to. And remember, this is in the era of second wave feminism, as I said, where women were discovering their independence and freedom of I guess, from what they viewed as traditionalism or the patriarchy. And they were trying to strike out on their own, and well, guys did it too, and homosexuals could. But this is the era where people, younger people, could do that stuff, and sometimes it worked out okay, and then sometimes they'd have these sexual deviants that would either rape them or kill them and throw their body in a ditch or in a river, or take it home with them and make a trophy out of it as part of their collection. But those are the times. And again, the identity of the hitchhiker and the perp could be totally under wrap. Nobody would know, nobody would hear about it. They just see a body in a ditch somewhere, unknown person, and female, male, and this was again part of the 70s. As I say, this is the golden age of serial murder. And unfortunately, that it brought a lot of negativity with it. I thought it brought far more negative consequences, second wave feminism, than positive, especially with this kind of havoc and chaos going on. But in my opinion, it didn't even come close to third wave feminism. And I'm going to go into that in more elaborate detail in my further videos. I'm going to kind of wrap this up here. I'm glad to get more subscribers. I'd like you to, if you could, please recommend me, recommend my channel to whoever you can. I'd really like to continue doing these videos, waking more people up, getting more subscribers, getting more people to share my knowledge with, and yeah, I look forward to doing that. All right, take care.